now she's our number one. But I don't know if like it's a friendly, so maybe Kim.
No, I'm sure Kim would want to try his best players.
I feel the opportunity because she's doing well in Albania as well. So we would want to see her with the women's national team. She graduated from U20, and we have barely felt her presence with the senior national team. If she's given the opportunity, I'm sure she would equally take it. So as a friendly, anybody that lines up should be able to show up.
Well, that's in a week's time, right?
Yeah.
So
next week Tuesday.
Next week Tuesday. Okay. So we'll see how things are. But yesterday I was tagged in a post on Facebook. So the post was talking about a Ghanaian player, Karen Apia Amwakwa. She plays for AC Milan.
Yeah.
She plays for AC Milan.
Her name has come up.
Primavera.
Ghanaians should take their time.
And I think she provided 2 assists and scored a goal in AC Milan's win over Fiorentina. It was match day 5 of the Italian Primavera League. So so she's one player, maybe.
Her name has come up, like I said. Remember, there are lots of players in the pipeline. I even mentioned Helena Alomenu. She's not far from the team, but it looks like it takes a process. Benedict scouting started a year and 8 months ago under Nora in March 2024. That is when our chase for Benedict Simon started. But here we are, 2025 November. We've been able to get her ahead of the WAFCON in Morocco. We tried again, but unfortunately some issues there and there did not allow it to happen. But I think that from the some names that I've heard around the women's national team, Karen's name is also part of it. So I'm sure work will be done. This is why I really wish that away from this England game, we do not stop there. We get a lot more friendlies to allow all of this pool of players to also come and show. If you come and you're able to justify and you stay, all the better. So it wouldn't be like we are trying to build a team just for a certain crop of players. So in the last year, I think that if there's one thing that the FA has really done very well for the women's national team is the number of friendlies we have had ahead of the WAFCON, and it showed because 2 of the nations we played during those friendlies, we met them in the WAFCON, and their performance told us why some of those friendlies were important. So I really wish that it doesn't stop at the end of this year and we wait till maybe February or March before we start preparing for the WAFCON. I wish that it will continue after 2nd December. We'll get a lot more of this high profile friendlies, get all of these names that we are thinking about, ladies that are doing well and showcasing their talent out there, to also come in there. If they're able to fit in and show what they have and the coach does have need of them, then we can continue to build our national team. It's still open for everybody.
So I'm curious about one player, and it's a player who excites Flyboy. Frida Isi, what happened to her?
Well, I think that Frida had her chance under Nora.
Yes, and the Zambia game.
Yes, and I do not know why she was not called again until Nora left. That conversation has come up again, and Claire, she's doing well for herself, and I think that at this point in time, Kim Lass has also showed that we cannot really tell him who or who not to go for. He's doing his own scouting.
Is she a player or a ball juggler?
No, she's a ball juggler and a player. We've seen that. Rashida Tajiba didn't start as an out-and-out footballer. Nigeria's Rashida Tajiba.
But we can see
she didn't start out.
But we can see a lot of quality when she plays.
Yes, and I will not deny that Frida also has her own quality.
We are not seeing same for Frida.
Maybe she didn't get it on the go the first time she was given the chance. We've seen players that have had it that way. The first game or the first call-ups might not go well, but later players pick up. It is across. Everybody has a way of adapting to situations. Someone will just walk into a team and feel as if they've been there for years. Some will also take time. It's the consistency.
Like Chantel.
Yes, she walked in and owned it. You know, it looks like she was literally dreaming of being a part of this. Got in there, and people are even already saying she's looking like a captain of the team. You know,
people want to give her the captain's badge.
No. That question came up, I think, in Morocco. and herself and Kim answered it very well. She was like, she doesn't need the armband to be able to stand up for her colleagues or make sure that everybody is okay. That is just who she is. And we asked the players who has that motherly instinct, everybody, her name just comes up as well as Portia. So it looks like it's something that is just with her. That is just how she is. With or without the captain's armband, she'll still walk up to the referee and ask things in a very good way. So I don't think she really wants that. She just enjoys herself being a part of the team. For Frida, you see, nothing is lost. She's still playing until we can't have all our players at the point in time. She's still a Ghanaian out there, and it's possible. Just maybe after this game, we could also see her.
Maybe she could get a late call up if some players don't show up. Maybe Kim Lass would consider a player, already in England for.
It can
happen. Yeah, it's possible.
It's very possible. It can happen, and it wouldn't be bad at all. I'm sure maybe he might also take this opportunity to pick up conversations with her. For he's not even spoken to her. He might have heard some of these conversations.
Maybe he's only see her play.
Yes, maybe he will take the opportunity to speak with her, get to know her better, and maybe from there he will have time to monitor and see if her kind of play can fit into the national team. So there's a lot of things. There are lots of possibilities out there for the team. I'm just happy that our women's national team is looking good now. To get this kind of friendly game, it's just a step in the right direction. I'm just wishing that the FA will not slack or relent on their efforts. For the women's game, you can't take it away from them. They've really gone out and above themselves to make it look good. So I am really hoping that things will get better.
Right. We wish the Queens all the best. Hopefully you'll be bringing us more updates as we prepare for this game. And I'm sure on match day we'll have conversations from Southampton. Thank you very much, Abigail, for joining me on the show.
Thank you.
This is still the Sporty Breakfast live on Sporty 106.1 FM in Accra. We're just talking about the Black Queens and the squad put out by Kim Lass Bjorkgren as the Queens prepare to take on the Lionesses of England next week, Tuesday. Should be an exciting game. We are looking forward to seeing how the Queens fare against top quality opposition. But let's stay in England a bit. Because there's a little matter of Manchester United to settle on the show this morning. Manchester United fans, let me hear you this morning. What is the problem? Exactly what seems to be the problem with your team? You take one step forward and then two steps back. David Moyes is picking his first win at Old Trafford as a visiting coach. Everton are beating Manchester United with 10 men. United clearly not the team many expect to finish in top 4. A lot of people tip Manchester United to finish in top 4 because they are not playing in so many competitions, but it's not looking good for United. And I heard a lot of people speak about the performance of some of the players yesterday. Mazraoui and Dogu, 0. Bruno Fernandes, as Nathan will call him. Casemiro all over the place. Diallo playing in the number 10 role. It's not working. Mbomo, United just didn't come up for them yesterday. Let's get talking. Give me a call, 0542-571061, 0542-571061. And Chelsea fans, all the noise you've made about meeting Barcelona, today is the day. Come at the hour, come at the team Chelsea. Now it's time for you to prove to everybody that, look, you are indeed world champions. This is one game where all of us want to see Chelsea come to the party at Stamford Bridge. Stop Barcelona in their tracks. So it's Chelsea versus FC Barcelona in the UEFA Champions League tonight. So Chelsea fans, let's get talking. Let me hear you. Let me hear what you have to say about your team's chances in tonight's game at Stamford Bridge. UEFA Champions League action returns tonight. Lots of interesting games to look forward to. Let me see if I have a caller on the line. And let me get back onto the lines. Okay, well, I know. So let's get talking. 0542571061. 0542571061. Let me hear Manchester United fans. This morning, I want to hear a lot of Manchester United fans. I want to hear from you. What is wrong with your team? You are playing at Old Trafford, for God's sake. And you are playing against Everton, who are 10 men, who are playing with 10 men. Zero 0542571061 0542571061. And there's Champions League football to talk about later on the show because some big games coming up tonight. Ajax will play Benfica, Galatasaray play Royal Union SG, Bodo Glimt plays Juventus, Chelsea take on Barcelona in the day's biggest game. You have Dortmund taking on Villarreal, Manchester City play Bayer Leverkusen, Marseille take on Newcastle, Napoli play Karabakh, yes, that's my team, Karabakh, and Slavia Prague will play Athletic Bilbao. But let's get on to the phone lines. I have a caller. Good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling us from.
Yeah, good morning, Ray. This is Otumfo calling from East Legon.
Otumfo, let's hear you.
Ray, even though I'm upset right now, but you people could calm me down.
Why are you upset?
Ray, imagine if they buy food for filling station, Charlie, my battery ran down, then jump for it, then charge me 50 cents for the filling station there right now.
This is why we are play.
Oh, Ray, I'm not going to buy food for there again. I'm down with them. So, but Ray, unfortunately, I don't think watch the United match. I wasn't able to watch the game, but for me to wake up and, I saw that United fall short, for 10 men, something mind-blowing because I knew expected United to do this too. But I thought you guys said your team was part.
Which guys? Me, I'm not part too.
Right. Who you want you? Why you do that?
I'm not part. So
your team don't come back here.
My team is Karabakh.
You know the person matter they pay me right now.
No.
You man go call. You man go Kumo. You go call right now. They cry.
You come and cry.
You man go call. They cry. Charlie United. You guys, Charlie. The team is not relevant anymore. Charlie, glory days are over. And you guys have to just limit your expectations. And the world champions are playing tonight. So come watch proper football. How to disable some people the tactics and then make everything work in your favor. That is what Chelsea is going to do tonight. So expect beautiful football from the Blues. That's here.
Right. Thank you very much, Otumfo, for joining us on the show. And I like the Chelsea fans. So I like the way they are confident. They say they are going to deal with somebody's tactics, and then hey, Charlie, Chelsea fans. I have a caller. Good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling us from. Talk to me. Good morning. Oh, you didn't introduce yourself.
Sorry. My name is Tete. I'm calling from Lakeside.
Right. Let's hear you.
I had one of the longest nights ever.
Oh, why?
Man United right with me. This is Sanepone. People planting for food and jobs because most of these players and I'm about number 10 football. I mean, they have no business in football. Because what is this? Look, from the onset, we started the game. For the first 2-3 minutes, you could see the coordinated press from everything. They know that backline, that United backline, cannot play from the back. They knew it. When they passed the ball, to Dogu. They are on him. He passes the ball to the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper passes to men. And for like 5 minutes, United couldn't get out of the press. Before Everton did their own thing, I'm a red card. But even this red card, I'm beginning to think Everton intentionally wanted to play 10 minutes because they played far better.
Oh, of course.
They play far better.
They got their goal after the man was sent off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you could see that, like they just knew what to do when they went the man down. So it's almost like they have rehearsed for 10 men. I'm beginning to think, okay, was this part of a strategy or what? Because they look so solid. What is this? Amorim just has a way of reminding us how bad he is every time. Oh, this is your anniversary, and this is how you tend to pay us back. What is this? What is this? I mean, Dabi. I mean, we can't take this. We can't take this.
You have to bring the players. You have to bring the players back for the Akukon Kitikiti project.
Oh yes. Yeah, planting for food. But when they'll still be resting. What is this?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. Great. And Manchester United fans are not excited. Manchester United fans are not happy. They say their team. Amorim always has to remind United fans that he's a bad coach. Good morning to your name and where you're calling us from. Kumo, your team. Yeah, I've been waiting for you. Your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Michael.
Okay. Let's hear you.
Looking for the black wow. But you make a talk about Manchester United. But yesterday make a say Everton will be strategy. But it's a bit more that way they experience the best teacher. Experience one of the sham or anything to me. The experience. You see after the goal, you see how disciplined Everton players were.
Yeah.
Well, very disciplined. Running off the ball. Right? I like that goal. How he was just causing the fouls and making the mind players very frustrated. I like how I was playing yesterday. But then I'm very man I don't understand. They didn't have foul. Then the guy had they feel like this, they just keep apparently they don't fit now either.
Yeah.
They don't fit out, they just but I just they should remember that one guy is back. That most of our players back there. They didn't think that is back. Now who plays Real Madrid? They don't know. They will just patiently waiting. I think it's 7 or 8 o'clock.
It's 8 p.m.
It's 8 p.m. You will meet for them. You will see something small. You will see them something small. And they are saying, that remember, you are buying another new task. Coming there again.
Right.
So that one, they tell the people to calm down. After 10 p.m., then the talking will start.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time. Kumo, thank you very much for your time. Give us a call, 0542571061. 0542571061. Good morning to you. Your name and where you are calling us from.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Buddy.
I didn't get that. I didn't catch that.
This is Buddy speaking, bro. Buddy, I think somebody.
Yeah. Right. Let's hear you.
Bro. Yeah, bro. I think yesterday, I think you are playing 10 against 11 against Everton. You can't even win your game or you can't even draw that game. They can't blow their 5 matches without losing. They can't blow that record away. It doesn't make sense, bro. These Mario players, I don't know what is happening to the players. I don't know whether it was the players or it was the coach. I don't know. Because yesterday, I think they will equalize the goal and score more. Because if you are playing against Everton, you are playing 10 against 11, bro. Oh, that one there, you go for that because you are playing home too. So I'm just surprised. That they couldn't win the match, or they didn't even draw the match. It's not fair at all. It's not fair. So sorry for you, Raymond. Sorry for you. I know what you.
I'm not part. So you leave me out.
You can't give up. Don't give up like that.
I'm not part.
You can't give up your part.
So it's Nathan.
Everyone knows that you're about your part.
It's Nathan. It's Kawawa. Flyboy. Immortal, Abigail, they are the Manchester United fans. Me, I'm not part.
You're also part.
Oh, no. Me, I've told you my team. My team is in Azerbaijan.
No. You're also part of my fan. Don't give up. You go be. I mean, today, Bata Kelsey, my brother. I say this Kukuroya today. Yamil Amao discipline Kukuroya for me today. This Kukuroya. Yamil Amao discipline Kukuroya for me today. I think this team, I'm even thank God that our injury players are back. Rafinha is back. This guy, Pedri is back. Frankie de Jong is back. So my brother, they will discipline them. Even they are playing home, but we will discipline them for their own home. My brother, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us on the show as well. But in tonight's game, Rafinha would miss the game for Barcelona. Yes, according to reports, Rafinha would not be available for this clash. And so, we'll see how things pan out. But keep your calls coming. Good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, Raymond. Good morning. My name is John, calling from Qatar.
Let's hear you, John.
Raymond, you know something?
Tell me.
I always wish you happiness. But listen to me very well. I always and will always wish you happiness. But there's only one thing that I won't wish you happiness in. Because you expect Chelsea to lose this evening.
Oh, how?
As for that one, you will start.
Oh, how? Yeah. I didn't say Chelsea will lose. I said the world champions must show us something tonight. That's all I said.
You call the support for our team noise.
Oh.
You said the noise makers. We are not noise makers. We support our team with all our heart, and you must understand.
I hear you, John.
As for this one, I always wish you happiness, but as for this one, this evening you will be sad.
Tomorrow morning we'll be here. Tomorrow morning we'll be back.
Yes.
And you must call. Tomorrow you must call.
Definitely I'll call. Where is Owoda?
Owoda is taking a little break. He's taking a break and Man United is giving him Pepe.
Oh, Charlie. And tell Abigail that she shouldn't hold brief for them. Black Queens. Charlie, they've not played the match and she has given up already.
Oh no. She's been realistic.
No. Just as we were always hard on the men, we will be hard on the women too. They should go and win. They must go and win. That's all. Abigail shouldn't say that, she shouldn't hold brief for the team that we shouldn't expect them to win. We should expect the prospects rather. No. We want them to go and win. They should go and beat England. Okay. If they said they are really, good, they should go and beat England. And if they lose, we will be on break again. Thank you.
I hear you. Thank you very much for your time on the show. And keep your calls coming 0542 571061. 0542 571061. Good morning to you. Your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, Mr. Raymond.
Yes, sir.
This is Cartel calling from Asuchari.
Let's hear you.
Raymond, it's been very happy yesterday for we the investors for United. This is something that we want. If you are expecting your order should go down, it's the same way you go down. We give United a chance when they score us 2-1, Chelsea, to flow up. But Amore didn't learn. And the punishment have come again. Today is going to be wonders matches that's in the years that we are really wanted to be. Chelsea, Barcelona game is going to be wonders. I know Barca is going to score us, but we will do our wonders. We will see games today. I really know. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time on the show. And, keep your calls coming. 0542 571061. 0542 571061. Good morning to you. Your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah, hi. Good morning, Ray. My name is calling from Hajo.
Right. Let me hear you.
Yeah, for us and the fans, the friends of Everton, we are happy. When United goes down, we are happy. We're really happy. And I think yesterday I was listening to Liverpool's program, and one gentleman made a comment that Liverpool won the league because the other teams were not performing. That's not true. That's not true. What is happening now? Even Arsenal is where they are because Liverpool and City are not performing. That's the fact. So I think we should come again.
Right. Thank you very much for your time on the show this morning. And there's UEFA Champions League action later tonight. Chelsea would play Barcelona. Big game. Biggest game of the night. Good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Good morning, Ray.
Yes, sir.
This is Papistic calling from Amman here.
Papistic, let's hear you.
I try, I thank God.
Yes, finally you are through.
Oh.
Yes, so
when you fast, I beg them. They should stop crying. They know the system already. When they were winning, they won 5 matches. They say, oh, when you are easy. Now, ever since you won, you are crying again. This is just results, okay?
Yeah.
But then, let me come to today's match. One of the callers calling was saying the players who are back for Barcelona. I want to correct him that Pedri is not back. And Pedri is the engine of Barcelona. So we will just give him Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, then we add with this. That's all.
But I'm sure you watched Barcelona over the weekend against Athletic Club.
We also watched Chelsea against Burnley. That was our junior team, our academy team. We used to score Burnley, so watch out.
Right. Thank you very much for your time on the show this morning. And we'll be talking a lot more, UEFA Champions League action. We'll be talking about Manchester United a bit more. Let me, pick my last 2 calls. Good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, this is Youngstago calling from Ashima.
Youngstago, let's hear you.
Oh, yeah. Yesterday I was waiting for the F1.
Yes.
Yeah, but I didn't.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back over the weekend. Don't worry.
Okay.
Right.
Then. And about yesterday's match, no, man, you were really.
Hello. Okay. Are you on the line? Okay, I think I lost my caller there. So I think I have room for one final call before I get into the discussion. There's UEFA Champions League round 5 action. As far as the league phase is concerned, there's Ajax, Benfica, Galatasaray would play Union SG. And then you have Bodo Glimt facing Juventus. Chelsea take on Barcelona in the night's biggest game. Dortmund will play BRL. Manchester City play Bayer Leverkusen. Newcastle would travel to Stade Velodrome to play against Marseille. Napoli would welcome Karabakh. And then Slavia Prague would play against Athletic Bilbao. So some really, really interesting games. First 2 games will be Ajax, Benfica, and Galatasaray Royal Union SG. And those games will be at 5:45. You can trust Sporty FM to bring you, consistent and exciting watch along tonight. You join Kosi Fiaka and the rest of the team on European nights. So right from 7 p.m. we'll bring you the build-up to all the big games that will be played tonight. And then you join the watch along right from 7. So I'll end my call-in segment. I think I'll bring that to an end, and then we'll start getting into the talking points, the key talking points. Yesterday, Manchester United, they had hit a good run of form over the last 5 games. But yesterday, Everton just reminded everybody that United are not there yet. United are not that finished article yet, and so Ruben Amorim and his charges would have to do a bit more. What do you make of United? What happened yesterday? Are you worried? Are you concerned about United's performance in yesterday's game? Or Amorim, as always, having survived a very difficult spell, would bounce back? And for Chelsea fans out there, you faced Barcelona for the first time since 2018, since March 2018. And last time both teams met in a competitive game, it didn't end well for Chelsea. Chelsea were beaten by 3-0. What next for Chelsea tonight? They play at the Stamford Bridge. Excited about the fact that they get to face a team they know they can beat, or a team they know, they could always pose problems to. Discussing all that on the show this morning. Lots of interesting games as well. We'll talk about all of that later on the show. And are in pole position to book their automatic spots into the next stage of the competition. Manchester City are 4th on 10 points. Paris Saint-Germain are 5th, 9 points. Newcastle United are 6th, 9 points. Real Madrid are 7th, 9 points. And Liverpool are 8th on 9 points as well. So the first 8 would get promoted to the next stage of the competition automatically. And between position number 9 and 24, they would have to get into the playoffs to determine teams that would qualify to the next stage of the competition. Now, Galatasaray have played 4 games. They have picked up 9 points in the process. Tottenham Hotspur are currently 10th. They have picked up 8 from 4 games. FC Barcelona are 11th. They've picked up 7 points from 4 games. Chelsea have also picked 7 points from 4 games. So it's a battle between position number 11 and 12 today, when Chelsea welcome Barcelona to Stamford Bridge. 13th position, you have Sporting CP on 7 points. Borussia Dortmund 14th on 7 points. Karabakh, my team, they are 15th on 7 points. Atalanta are 16th on 7 points as well. And then you have Atletico Madrid 17th on 6 points. PSV Eindhoven, they are 18th on 5 points. Monaco are 19th with 5 points. Pafos are 20th on 5 points. Bayern Leverkusen are 21st with 5 points. You have Club Brugge, 22nd position on 4 points. Eintracht Frankfurt, 23rd on 4 points. And then you have Napoli, 24th on 4 points. So from position number 9 to position number 24, they will be hoping to battle it out for a place in the next stage of the competition via the playoff route. Now, from position number 25 to 36, they will be kicked out of the competition entirely. Olympique Marseille are 25 on 3 points. Juventus, 26, 3 points. Athletic Bilbao, 27, 3 points. Union SG, 28th position, 3 points. Bodo Glimt, 29th position, 2 points. Slavia Prague, 30th position, 2 points. Olympiacos, 31st place, 2 points. And then you have BRL, 32nd, 1 point. FC Copenhagen, 33. They are currently occupying the 33rd spot. They have 1 point. Karat Almaty, they are occupying the 34th position. They have 1 point. And then you have Benfica and Ajax with no points, finishing or at the bottom of the table, 35 and 36. Ajax, interestingly, they've scored just 1 goal, and they've considered as many as 14 in the UEFA Champions League this term. very terrible result for us, Ajax in there. But they face their fellow stragglers, Benfica, in tonight's game. It's position number 35 versus position number 36. Ajax versus Benfica later tonight. There's a lot to look forward to in tonight's Champions League games. We'll start off the conversation from the Champions League today. And Kelvin Owusu-Ansah has joined me in studio. Would run the rule, would do a quick preview of some of the key games to look forward to in tonight's games. And Kelvin, once again, let me welcome you to Sporty Breakfast. Let's start with Manchester City, and let's look at Manchester City. They have been very decent in the competition so far. They've picked up 10 points from a possible 12. Clearly, it's not a bad record. Still in a position to pick up that one automatic spot. They come up against Bayer Leverkusen. What kind of at Etihad? What kind of game should we expect? And are we going to see City, just continue their fine run in the Champions League?
Well, Raymond, I think things are getting tougher for Pep Guardiola to actually get his team, running. The consistency has been a bit questionable, and you cannot blame him too much, but you can also blame him because when he was building that team, that became, cancerous to all other teams, making sure that, all other teams struggled. He failed to actually keep the momentum, but, every era definitely has an end. He hasn't ended entirely, but he's actually struggling to keep up. I think, judging from what we've seen from teams who would want to beat him this season, if there is any other team that I'll trust or I'll put my faith in to beat a Pep Guardiola team, would not be Bayer Leverkusen. And it's all because Leverkusen themselves have struggled in the last couple of months when they made that awful decision to give the team to, Erik ten Hag to start the season with them. They are gradually trying to pick up the pieces, because they've actually now given, a better manager, Kasper Juhlmann, the former Denmark coach, an opportunity to, re-strategize, revitalize the team and get them better. Now, if any team that plays against Manchester City is able to stifle Erling Haaland, it means that City on that day is useless. And we saw that against Newcastle United when Thiago made sure that he actually gave him, a run for his money, virtually frustrated him throughout the entire minutes of the game. And if you look at this Manchester City team, the problem seems to be in that midfield and defense. Pep's teams have always had the strength of very quality midfield, who are able to hold the ball, who are able to make sure that they have much more of the possession against opponent. But you look at this team and you ask yourself, the midfielders that they have, Nico Gonzalez, they are not up there. They were thinking that Rodri will get back to, his perfect form after that injury, but it looks like it's not working for the Spaniard. So Pep is still trying the chopping and changing, trying to work things out. You look at the Bayer Leverkusen team. Yes, they've started again. They are trying to build anew. Their weekend victory over Wolfsburg was quite interesting.
Yeah, it was emphatic.
Yes, Malik Tillman was in the thick of affairs. Very brilliant player. Patrick Schick. And there's this Ghanaian, and it's Puku. Yes, maybe he has Ghanaian name, but as to whether he's also going to play for us, that is also another question. And it's Puku, and then Tillman made sure that they actually gave Schick that strength up front to help them win the game. And Kasper Juhlmann has brought back that confidence in, the Burkina Faso centre-back, Edmond Tapsoba. After Jabi Alonso left, it became a bit difficult for that guy to actually, settle properly in Bayer Leverkusen. He was struggling the entirety of last season, and then the start of this season under Ten Hag was a bit problematic. Now, you look at the team and they are buoyed by the strength of Loic Bade as well, the French centre-back who used to play for Sevilla. And they have Robert Andrich, who on any day you would want to play in that midfield. But unfortunately, for the injuries and the injuries to that is as Axel Tapi and Ezekiel Fernandez and others, he would have to deputize in that defensive line for them in that 3-back, because Casper Human, as we know him, wants to just make sure that the players feel much more comfortable in roles that would help them. Now, looking at the midfield that I've been talking about, Manchester City, if Pep wants his team to actually get better after their failure against Newcastle United, it should be in that midfield. How they are able to neutralize the threats or the strength that will come from a partnership of Alex Garcia and then Ibrahim Musa. Those two guys have been, I don't know where they've gotten their strength from. Together with Jonas Hoffman and Alex Grimaldo, it looks more like they are much more revitalized under a new manager, Casper Human. And that is what we talk about. There are times that, yes, you may have all the players, but if you don't have a good coach to put together the team, you struggle. If you look at the Manchester City midfield, I don't see which players would be eager to actually give that dominance that City would want in a midfield play, just like we will see from Bayer Leverkusen. It's not that City have bad players. They have very good players, but they are still struggling to click like, a team. And that is where the worries of Pep Guardiola lies. There are times you see Gonzalez and then the rest come up with very excellent performances. There are times that you see them struggle and they are not even able to, build up play, and it gets difficult for Erling Haaland to have any of that. City can use their outlets. Jeremy Doku has had, a better season than any other season that I have watched him. But in using those outlets, this is a Bayer Leverkusen team who are going to play Grimaldo on the left-hand side of their midfield, and then they have Jonas Hoffman, who will be marauding them up and down on the right-hand side too. And they still have Ernest Puku, who would also be supporting down the left, and then Mark Tillman, the American, who would also be making sure that he's going to offer support in the wide areas. Now, this gives a lot of worries to Pep Guardiola. Do I still go with Nico Gonzalez as the sole man in that midfield, or do I add up to him? Or I would rely on the intelligence and brilliance of Bernardo Silva and then Phil Foden? It's a bit of a problem for him. And I think that he's just running in and around the players anyhow. Ryan Cherki hasn't really blossomed to expectation. If Pep doesn't get, his setup right, Bayer Leverkusen are just going to come and disturb them, their peace, and then ultimately may run away with a point. That is definitely going to be the focus of Human and Bayer Leverkusen. Yeah. City are a big team. If you open up too much, Erling Haaland will punish you, because they have players who, out of no moments, can just give you, headaches with one pass or 2-3 passes and break down your team. I think it's a game that City stand, a better chance of winning, especially playing at the Etihad, which should be, their favorite grounds to pick up the points after failing on Saturday. But I see Bayer Leverkusen causing lots of problems for them this evening. Josko Guardiola has come out to say it, that this is the worst start ever since he started playing football, and he knows that he's not at his best. Now he's being played in central defense. So when he was being played as a left back, that was when he was giving people problems, scoring left, right, center, all those wonderful goals. But in his adapt role that he was expected to play for Manchester City, that is where the problems are. Ruben Diaz is not, as confident and as solid as he used to be. So now there's still problems surrounding the Manchester City team. Matheus Nunes, on any day, this shouldn't be a right back. But ask yourself, Pep is deploying him as a right back. And that adds up to City's defensive woes. Nico O'Reilly, will he be able to battle those runs from Mark Tillman? Will Ernesto Puku have a field day against Matheus Nunes, which I think, yes, he's going to be. But everything borders and centers in that midfield area. If City are able to control it with Bernardo Silva and then Phil Foden and Nico Gonzalez, it will be good for them. But if they fail at that particular point, then it's going to be problems for them up front, because knowing Patrick Schick, knowing what Enespoku and then Tillman I have seen from them this season, then City would have lots and lots to worry about. And let's not forget that this is a Bayer Leverkusen team who can afford to play a fullback. They can bring in Jarrell Kwanzaa to come and play, the former Liverpool centre back. And they have a very, very good, trusted players. They may not have the names, but they are very much disciplined. They haven't really, been different from the team that Xabi Alonso used in winning the league. About 2 or 3 players of the team. But if you look at the regulars or the spine of the team or the core of the team, most of these players are there and they understand demand of high-level performance, which I think that Kasper Human offers that for them to give a good showing. And playing against Manchester City alone is enough motivation for these players to show their capabilities and build their confidence, knowing that, yes, they are under a resurgence and they can get back. City are favourites, but I wouldn't be surprised if it ends in a narrow victory for them or a draw for Bayer Leverkusen. They are not going to run riot over them.
Right. Last time we saw a team punish Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League, it was Manchester City. It was PSG. Sorry, it was PSG. They beat them by 7-2. That was quite a scoreline, and we all know how Manchester City play, casting the mode of PSG to a certain extent with a very prolific striker in Haaland. But let me bring in.
Are you sure they have the same efficiency as the PSG team?
Let me bring in Michael as well. Michael, good morning to you and welcome to Sporty Breakfast.
Well, good morning, Raymond, and it's great to be on the show, guys.
Great, good to have you. Well, we're talking about Manchester City and Bayer Leverkusen. Clearly, Pep Guardiola has quite a good record when it comes to playing Champions League group stage matches or league phase matches at home. 23 matches, he's been able to win 20 of them. He's drawn 3 times. Clearly, Etihad seems to be a happy hunting ground for him. And this season, he's already beaten a German opposition. He's beaten Dortmund 4-1. He faces another one in Bayer Leverkusen. What kind of game should we expect? And can Leverkusen cause problems for Manchester City as they seek to bounce back from their weekend defeat?
No, I have doubts about it. Clearly, the occasion spells everything out in terms of how Manchester City will approach this game. This will be the 100th UEFA Champions League game for Pep Guardiola at the helm of affairs for Manchester City. And if you look through, of the 62 games he's won, a chunk of them have been home games. And so where the game will be taking place is very crucial. And how the game will be played will also be determined, judging by the occasion that is at hand. Pep, on occasions like this, barely sets his team up like it doesn't really matter. He pays attention to some of these details. Maybe he will pretend in front of a camera and act like he doesn't know what the occasion is all about. But he definitely knows that this is his 100th UEFA Champions League match. He will want to do something, especially right on the back of a disappointing defeat against Newcastle United in the Premier League. They'll want to win a game like this to restore confidence in the side. So I have huge doubts about whether Bayer Leverkusen can spring any surprise against the Manchester City team. And as you mentioned, City dispatched Dortmund 4-1. And if you compare Bundesliga form and even in the Champions League season, in this season, the form of Dortmund vis-a-vis the form of Bayer Leverkusen, clearly you know Dortmund are the better side. They are better in the Bundesliga contest and also better in terms of the UEFA Champions League. And for City, dispatching them in that manner, it clearly spells how things will be like for Bayer Leverkusen at the Etihad Stadium. Again, for Erling Haaland, he's on a personal mission. He wants to get the goals, as many as he can, perhaps put his name up there to see if potentially Norway comes to the World Cup and do well. And if City are able to win something this time around, it will polish his prospects in terms of winning the Ballon d'Or. So he will love games like this to try and then increase his goal tally. He did same in the Dortmund game, and clearly you expect him to step up in a game like this. Are Leverkusen structured in a manner to be a team that can cause an upset? I don't think so. They have lost their luster everything that was very positive about them when they won the Bundesliga some 2 seasons ago, going unbeaten, and then they were making some very positive incursions in the UEFA Europa League. Everything seems to have dissipated from their camp. They look a different team now. And under Kasper Helmland, they are trying to build something different, trying to do something which is a bit of a deviation from how Alonso set them up to play. They line up in a similar formation, but they play differently regarding what the coach expects of them. They don't have that midfield solidity and experience like we used to have with the Robert Eindrijk, Granit Xhaka. It is a bit different now. They don't have that explosiveness on their right wing in terms of their playmaker, Claudio Echeverri. He's a Manchester City player who's on loan at Bayer Leverkusen. He's not really hit the ground running like you would expect from a typical Florian Wirtz. So there's a Leverkusen team in transition, trying to move to another phase after the Xabi Alonso era, and they have not really hit their peak yet. They are not at that level where you expect them to deliver top performances. They tried to go toe-to-toe with Paris Saint-Germain, and it ended in a calamitous manner. It was very disgraceful, the way a manner they lost to PSG. And if they try to go toe-to-toe with Manchester City, I envisage a similar fate before happening to them, because you look at the Man City team, yes, they might not have the suave, the swagger that the PSG team is using now, but trust me, Manchester City still boasts some quality players, and they have a deep squad as well. And so if you look through the City setup, they have individual players who can turn the game around, and then they also have a team who are also capable of causing damage to the Bayer Leverkusen team as a collective. So I think, yes, the game is far beyond the reach of Bayer Leverkusen, and I'll be very surprised if City do not win convincingly. I will not look past anything less than a win with a 2-goal margin or more. It is going to be a heavy win for Manchester City in this match.
Right. Let's talk about the biggest game of the night, and that's a game that would interest a lot of people. Let's talk about the Chelsea-Barcelona game. Now, Chelsea have a 5-game unbeaten run, winning 4 and drawing 1 in the process. Barcelona themselves have had quite a mixed bag of results over the last few games. We've seen them play. Now, Michael, Kelvin, let me start with you. This Chelsea team we've seen this season, currently second in the Premier League, and currently fighting for a place as far as the automatic qualification is concerned. They've picked up 7 points from possible 4. This Chelsea team we've seen this season, how good are they? And what seems to be doing the trick for Maresca and his boys this season in the league? And, possibly you could add the Champions League as well.
Well, it was always about time. They only needed time, or he needed time to get the team to play exactly how he wanted. And, just like he said when he came, he had players. There were some that he think he had, some time to look at. There were too many players available for him. But now he's been able to cut down the size to, the number which he believes that is good to work with, even though he still has worries about it. The number of injuries and, suspensions day in, day out has actually given him that liberty to be able to, use his team without any worries. Romeo Lavia, Cole Palmer, Levi Colwill, Mikhailo Modric, all because of what we all know has happened to him, are all absent. But this is a Chelsea team that plays freely. If a team has an attack where Liam Delap, they have João Pedro up front, it should tell you that, yes, it's a very good team. Now, what has actually worked for you? He's actually understood the profiles of the players and understood that this is how I should set up my team. Initially, when he came, I'm sure he wanted to play thinking that the English style, just like he did with Leicester City, the likes of Mavididi, the likes of Jamie Vardy, Fatawu Sahaku. But this time around, he met, different kind of players. Now he's understood, without Cole Palmer, what do I do? Do I go wide? Do I play through the middle? He's realized that his midfield is not a midfield that can actually contain so much when it comes to trying to play, keeping control of the ball. So what do? We go with quick transitions because he has the players who are able to do that. In Pedro Neto, João Pedro offers that, Liam Delap offers that. Even a central midfielder in Enzo Fernandez, he's a player who is always looking at besting forward. That explosivity. Even Caicedo, every time he wins the ball, he's thinking about the next thing to quickly burst into an attack. Because if you delay and then the overloads come, he knows that he has a very weak back line. With the exception of Marco Correa, ask yourself, the Chelsea backline, which players you can actually trust that, yes, these players have been good enough. Is it Adarabioyo? Is it Trevor Chalobah? Reece James is on and off. Today he's on, the next day he's off. Benoit Badiashile, is he a player you can actually trust that, come on, this is a centre-back that, per Chelsea's pedigree. Look at the defenders Chelsea have had over the years. So it's more about, quick thinking. Let's get the ball forward. Whether it's Estevao playing, or is Jamie Gittins playing, or is João Pedro playing, or is Malu Gusto, Magui, any one of them. The thinking is quickly get the ball forward. Let's get goals. Because they know that defensively, the frailties, if they decide to hang on, they are going to concede and it becomes difficult for them to get back into games. So I think it's about the sense of urgency that is put in the minds of the players. That teams will only recover when you give them ample time to recover and get back into their positions, which he has made his Chelsea team feel, actually perfect, so that teams don't have that sort of, luxury in building, the walls that will protect them against Chelsea's attack. And I think that it's been perfect. He's tried to find the perfect tune for Delap, but it's still failing to get the goals. Estevao knows his job, when Neto plays. And I think that he's been their biggest outlet. I look at the Jurgen Klopp team when, he had Sadio Mane and Firmino, and you could clearly see every time they had the ball, where do they look to? The right-hand side or the left-hand side? Because he knows that is where the team have their biggest threat and their biggest strength. Just go to those wide areas and you are good to go. And that is what I have seen from this Chelsea team. Pedro Neto has been the live wire for them. He actually makes things work. His movement, his runs, his long deliveries, his recovery. It's been excellent. So every time you see Chelsea just try to play, they just quickly go through him, and he's the one who's been able to actually save them. But not discounting what Caicedo has also been doing. So I think it's all about the quick transitions that Chelsea have actually decided to perfect themselves to, instead of that, ordinary the current trying to build up from defense, midfield, getting into attack. If you look at Enzo Maresca, probably he would want to do that, looking at the school he's coming from. But without the materials who will be able to do that for you, what do you go to? You switch quickly to the right-hand side and the left-hand side of attack to work things for you. Maybe when Cole Palmer gets fit, he may try to alter things a bit, because he's one player who actually, does the magic for them when he's on the ball. And even with him, from the Club World Cup and how Chelsea started the season, you could clearly see that there's a player who's always looking at getting forward, because once you get the goals wins you games. And it's actually worked for them.
Right. Michael, let me bring you back into the conversation, and let's look at this Chelsea team. Enzo Maresca has chopped and changed and tweaked his squad in the Champions League quite a lot. In that last game against Karabakh, when they drew 2-2, we saw him try to shuffle the pack again. We saw George start in that game. It didn't go too well. Going into a game that many people expect you to go out there and try to give yourself a fighting chance against a very formidable team, should Maresca be considering possibly rotating his players to bring in some fresh legs, or you just maintain that winning team that has delivered winning results for you over the last few games? What kind of Chelsea team are we going to see tonight?
Well, I think Maresca knows his best 11. I will not lie. And that informed his decision, in terms of his selection for that game against Burnley. You could see that Caicedo was well rested because he had then played for Ecuador during the international window and they had made some journey. So he did not really want to put him through his paces in that game, rest him, make sure that he has a full tank to play in the Barcelona game. So surely he will start Caicedo in a game of this magnitude. Again, the likes of Wesley Fofana. Fofana was not even part of the match day squad. That should also tell you the inclination of Maresca towards this match. This Barcelona team do high pressing, and we know how Maresca's teams like to play. They will build up from the back, hold on to possession, bait a press from the opponent, then they will try and put in some 1 or 2 defense splitting passes. And the best example to give will be that second goal Chelsea scored against Burnley. A smart pass from Robert Sanchez to the right and a couple of passes, and Chelsea had just split open the Burnley side, and then they were just on the run, and then the second goal came as a result of it. So clearly, Maresca would love to build from the back, and he would need ball-playing defenders who are confident and then are, to some extent, press resistant. They don't panic when they are under pressure. And Wesley Fofana fits that profile. Badiashile was offered some moments in the game against Burnley. Again, he had just returned from injury. So let's give him some minutes, make sure that he warms up perfectly. And then in the Barca game, maybe he might be given a role, whether from the start or not. So it gives me the impression that Maresca will select a team that suits his style of play. And I will not be surprised if I see the 2 French centre-backs starting this game, Wesley Fofana and then Benoit Badiashile. Worst case scenario, one of them will start in this game for the Chelsea side. So I expect the defense to be somewhere around Gusto or James starting as the right back, because I think one of them will also likely be in the middle. Then you would have Cucurella definitely at the left back position. Then you go for Wesley Fofana, Badiashile, or Trevor Chalobah and Badiashile. One of them will likely play. Robert Sanchez in the goal post. In the middle, if Enzo Fernandez is fit and then Moises Caicedo is also fit, the 2 of them will likely start. Then one of Rhys James or Malo Gusto will play as the additional man in the middle, acting as a decoy. And it's mostly the tactic that Maresca uses in games like this, where it gives Chelsea an additional presence in the middle when they are without the ball, and also an outlet they can go to when they need an insurance policy to get someone to make runs off the midfield of the opposition. So yes, one makeshift midfielder will be in there, and that will likely be Gusto or Rhys James. In attack, I don't think he will start Estevao in this game. Maresca knows very well that despite everything that has been very positive around Estevao this season for the Brazil national team, for the Chelsea side, he is still not matured enough to be starting games consistently. And the kind of character that players like Yamal have, even at a very young age, where they were given a lot of work to do and they had to shoulder that burden and do it for club and country, Estevao might not have it because he comes from a different background, a different setting, and so it is a bit much of an ask if you ask him to start from in games like this and deliver. So I think it is going to be Pedro Neto, and that will also be the reward for his performance in that game against Burnley. One of Bino Gittins or Alejandro Garnacho will also play in this match, and then Joao Pedro will likely lead the attack. This is how I think Maresca will set the Chelsea team up. And the interesting part is that we all know how Barcelona are going to play. Barcelona, maybe there were adjustments in the game against Bilbao, and then the positive was also that in Juan Garcia, they have a goalkeeper who clearly understands his job as a sweeper, which is a bit different from Szczesny. Garcia is very mobile. He's also swift and alert to situations like where a goalkeeper has to sweep and then also display in terms of distributing the ball. He fits that profile better. And I think in him, Barcelona have a goalkeeper who will sort out a lot of the issues that is wrong with their team in terms of how they set up and how they play with that high line. Again, there was an adjustment from Hansi Flick in terms of the defensive high line from him in that game against Bilbao. They withdrew at a point in time. They drew back, and so they were not so high that Bilbao will exploit. Maybe it's Hansi Flick also trying how he would play the Chelsea game, because Chelsea have explosive wingers. And as Carlos Forbes was a weapon of mass distraction for Barcelona in that Club Brugge game, then Pedro Neto and the likes are like double whatever danger Forbes posed to Barcelona. So I think Flick will not be so naive to go in and not want to change something. He will adjust his team and how they set up, judging by the threat also posed by the Chelsea team. It's going to be fascinating. But as I said earlier, this is how I see Chelsea lining up with the best of selection.
Now, let's talk about Barcelona. And Kelvin, help me with this. Barcelona had issues to deal with on the injury front. And also, in the last game, we saw Frankie de Jong miss out because of suspension. Hansi Flick gets a chance to get his near full complement of a squad, get a squad that should be able to hold their own against any team. We saw them over the weekend against Athletic Bilbao. They look like a team that has improved. They look like a team that has moved on from their struggles early on in the course of the season. Do you see this Barcelona team as a team that can cause problems for this Chelsea team in terms of the quality they have on the field, in terms of the style of play, in terms of what kind of strategy Hansi Flick could deploy in this game? If you look at them, compare them to Chelsea, is this a game that they can show their superiority and possibly dominate Chelsea?
Well, I think they would always have that dominance, and they have enough quality to disturb this Chelsea team. I've already raised questions about the Chelsea defense and why I don't trust the Chelsea defense so much. I think that has been their greatest liability, and especially when the midfield is without Caicedo, who drops as the screen to Chelsea's central defense. And this is a Barcelona team that has enough weapon up front. They would ask lots of questions. That's a young man on the right-hand side of the attack, Lamine Yamal. You can't count him out. Ferran Torres has all of a sudden decided to, start hitting some, good form and good goals with Robert Lewandowski leading the attack. A player you can always trust, even at his age, that coming into a game, he will give you some goals. And I look at him and then the defenders he's coming to face, and I ask questions. If the passes are threaded through, how would Chelsea stop Lewandowski from scoring? And mostly in every single game, he's hitting about 3 or 4 shots on target. And at least he has one that will score. And Chelsea, as we know, would always offer lots of spaces for their opponents. We saw that even in the game against Burnley. In as much as they won, they still gave away so many chances. Barcelona will punish you for that. And they have very good creators. Not just from Lamine Yamal. If Dani Olmo is playing, it's trouble. Mm-hmm. Deep from midfield, Fermin Lopez offers that too. Yeah. Ferran Torres offers that. When Lewandowski decides to drop deep and play, he offers that. So for Barca, they are going to give Chelsea lots to think about. But I would want to see the battle that would happen between Cucurella and then Lamine Yamal. As we know, Cucurella is a player who has always given, players that, who want to take on defenders and have that brilliance in dribbling and pace. Because he's fast, yes. He's fast too. And he reads the game better. It's quite difficult for you to get past him. Yeah. Because he always takes his time, look at where the ball is being played before he makes the tackle. How will Lamine fare with it? And we know that if Barca struggle with Lamine Yamal and they don't have Pedri, Gavi through the midfield to create from deeper line, it becomes difficult for them to get in there. So that is where I think Chelsea would need to sort it out. If they're able to sort out that part, then they would have Lewandowski to deal with becoming, easier, because they wouldn't have someone who would be feeding him too much. But there are also things you think about and you ask yourself. There's a Dani Olmo. This is a player we've seen right from his time in Germany at the European Championship that, Spain won. From deeper lines, he creates so much. in the number 10 role, he scores a lot more. If the center forward is failing to score, he steps in and then he does the magic. Will Chelsea be able to lock up all those spaces and prevent them from playing? If Mark Casado gets into that midfield, I always say that he's one player that, less is said about him. Very intelligent, very technical. Yeah. He knows what his job is about. And thankfully, Rafinha made his return. I don't know if they are going to play him in this game.
So I'm told per the reports that came out yesterday, he's going to miss this game. So he together with Rashford are going to miss this game.
So if they are missing this game, then hallelujah for Chelsea. But if they were going to play, that would have been an extra headache. And even without them, I still think that Barcelona have too much firepower up front. Because if a team is playing with Lamine Yamal, Dani Olmo, Robert Lewandowski, Ferran Torres, it's going to be quite difficult to do. Let's not forget, these players will run around the pitch so much. Maybe Lamine is the one going to stick to the right-hand side. But for Lewandowski, for Dani Olmo, and then Ferran Torres, they are going to move in and around the same area. They are going to rotate positions. And that will give Chelsea lots of problems because you don't know when Lewandowski is going to the right-hand side. You don't know when Dani Olmo is coming to occupy the number 9 row, center forward row. You don't know when Ferran Torres is coming in central for Lewandowski to play behind him, and then Dani Olmo is going to the left-hand side. So these are questions that they are going to pose to Chelsea. But thankfully, if they have Caicedo, some of these things may be limited. But to win, because Chelsea seems loose and they give away so many chances. And this is Barcelona team. They want to score a lot more. If you give away those chances, they will punish you for it. They are much more efficient and effective up front than the teams that we see them in the Premier League that they play against.
Now, let me bring in Michael again. Now, Michael, we've seen Barcelona. I mean, there isn't too much to say seems to be the flaw in that team apart from the highlight they play. And you've spoken about the fact that over the weekend, Hansi Flick was trying to depart a bit from the high line. Now, going into a game against this Chelsea team, what is Hansi Flick expected to do if he has to win? And for Maresca, what does he have to do if he's to get a very good result from this game? So basically, let's look at both teams and see where the game could be won or lost for both teams going into tonight's game.
Barcelona need to find a way to make sure Lamine Yamal stays active in this game and impactful. He's their most important attacker, no matter what anybody says. If Lamine has a great day, it is very sure or very clear that Barcelona stands a greater chance of winning any such game. So Hansi Flick will need to find a way of making sure he's very active, especially looking at him facing directly his Spanish colleague, Marc Cucurella. Cucurella has come up against some of the best attackers in the game, and he's emerged victorious. I don't remember Cucurella failing against opponents in 1v1 on several occasions. I think the only one this season I can actually recount is that of Cucurella versus Michael Olise, and Olise gave him a tough run, a very, very difficult time. And so you would have to look at how Yamal faces up against Marco Cucurella and how he succeeds in these individual duels. I think will be very crucial, because if you assess Barcelona, they are a team that are very effective when they create goal-scoring opportunities through individual skill. A player has to dribble one or two. It will kind of restrict the opponent in terms of the numbers they have to defend and the spaces they have to cover. And just one split pass, that Trivela passes from Lamine Yamal, very beautiful, then is able to put the ball into a space, then allow the other Barca attackers to run into. Ferran Torres is the biggest beneficiary in this instance, and then he has to connect. There are times where he dribbles, and then he has to send in crosses, and that is where Robert Lewandowski comes in, because he's that poacher who always tries to find himself in such positions to be in a position to connect from such crosses, whether from left or from right. So yes, Hansi Flick needs to find a way to make sure Lamine Yamal is very active and impactful in this game for a sustained period. 2, Barcelona needs to find ways to force turnovers from the Chelsea team. And I say this because, yes, I have highlighted how Maresca expects to play. The evidence is that Maresca's best centre-back is not available this season in Levi Colwill. And it was the best option for Maresca in that game against Paris Saint-Germain. Colwill and his line-breaking passes. He's able to just send or thread through a pass in very difficult circumstances. Also very press resistant. Now, how Chelsea plays is their strength if it goes well. If it backfires, it is their weakness, and opponents can use it against them. So the ability of Barca to press very high, force turnovers from the Chelsea team, especially from deep areas, will be very crucial. And it's one thing Barca did successfully against Club Brugge, did successfully against even Athletic Bilbao, and then it paid off for them, forcing turnovers, making sure that the Bilbao team will make a mistake, they win the ball, and then quick counter-attacks. One thing about the Barca team is that they have players who pass with precision, especially from midfield. They pass with a lot of precision. So if they win the ball off you, just one pass is enough. They play it into space, and then they can counter-attack you. So Barca, if they have to win this game, we need to really make sure their press game is effective, and then their counter-attacking game is top-notch. That is also very crucial. In terms of finishing, Barca are very deadly. You give them 8 chances, and then they will bury like 5 or 6. So Chelsea cannot afford to create such instances against this Barcelona team, where Barca has a lot of chances created against them. But I think the 2 most important things Barcelona will need to do is to get their individual players into the game, most especially Lamine Yamal. He should be at the top of his game. And then 2, force turnovers from the Chelsea team, especially from deep, when they start to build up, from the goalkeeper Sanchez, because he has a tendency of blowing hot and cold. Sanchez can be very brilliant at this moment, and the next is just making a mistake that is costing his team. And I think if Barca creates that atmosphere, although the game will be played at the Stamford Bridge, but if they are exerting more pressure on the Chelsea back line and even their goalkeeper, I think they'll be able to force Chelsea either to play not in a way they deem fit or to make mistakes which Barca can capitalize on and then punish the Chelsea team.
Right. Michael, we've seen both teams concede as many as 10 goals in their last Champions League clashes. Chelsea played out a 2-2 draw against Karabakh. Barcelona played out a 3-3 draw against Club Brugge. Okay. Now, defensively, do both teams look assured? Looking at how easily they concede goals, do they look like teams that could deliver a clean sheet in tonight's game, or we should be looking to count a lot of goals because of their defensive frailties and also their firepower up front?
Non-availability of personnel, the right profile to do what they want to do. I think Barca's undoing in defense was when they sold Inigo Martinez and never replaced him. It was a very important figure in their defensive setup for their build-ups, for everything. But again, how intelligent he was when they were without the ball to read the room and know that I am the last man, so I need to just step out, close the door, and set that offside trap. He was very effective at that. And that is how come Barca were making a lot of teams commit offside offenses throughout last season. This season, it has not really happened as such. And maybe you can give different reasons for it. One would be teams learning how to play against Barca. But I think the most fundamental one is Barca without the right profile to do that for them. Inigo Martinez was that last man. And always when he stepped up, it triggered the offside line. And then often opponents were falling for that trap. Now it is not happening. So they lack that personnel to do that. And it has cost them a lot of times in terms of conceding chances or conceding goals. Now, if you look through the Barca team, of the available options for central defense, Eric Garcia, I don't know the status of Andreas Christensen, then Paul Kubasi, Ronald Araujo. The best selection from this lot will be Kubasi and then Eric Garcia. And they don't possess that trait that Inigo Martinez had. So it has been a long-lasting characteristic of how Barcelona's defense have been failing so far this season. They have tried, but due to the non-availability of personnel, they are not able to sort it out. And I think that is how come Hansi Flick maybe is adjusting how high their defensive line is. And maybe he brought it back in that game against Athletic Bilbao. So that explains for Barca's defensive lapses. Again, in terms of how they push high to attack, there are times they leave spaces at their laterals. Either Koundé is exploited from the right, or one of Gerard Martin or Alejandro Balde is exploited from the left. And it has also cost them a lot this season. So Barca have defensive issues. Another one will be defending set pieces. When crosses are sent into the Barca penalty box, unless the keeper comes out to make a high claim, they don't have the right personnel to deal with aerial threat from crosses or set plays. And that is also another thing that they will need to sort out. And I think these are all weaknesses in the Barca defensive line that Chelsea can exploit. In the Chelsea team, they have similar issues like the Barca one. They play with a high line, but not as high as Barcelona. And when they play someone like Badiashile, he's very slow in terms of his recovery. So most of the times, teams are smart enough that they place a very pacey attacker in between the two Chelsea defensive players, that is the central defenders. And then the attacker will run off when El Boy is lobbed over the Chelsea team. And it has cost them a lot of time. So I don't know how Maresca will deal with this. But one solution I saw from him in one particular game was making sure he deployed Moises Caicedo to become a de facto third center back when they were without possession, so that in cases like that, Caicedo will track, cover, and be in a position to win back possession for the Chelsea team. It paid off, and I think he would do so similarly. He would do a similar thing, in the game against Barcelona if he's going to play Badiashile and Fofana, or even Fofana and Chalobah. It will likely make Caicedo act like a de facto center back, so that he becomes the third man in that option to make sure that Chelsea can recover most of these times. And then when it's Badiashile, another option is to make Marco Kurela most at times track back, recover due to his pace, and then help Chelsea in such instances. But the Chelsea team have developed a tendency for letting their guard loose at the time where you least expect it. And then they have also had the penchant for pressing the self-detonating button. So anything is not wrong, opponents are not pressing them, then they will make an error that will lead to a dangerous chance created against them. Chelsea have done this severally. There are times they've been punished. There are times where they are left off the hook. And so against a Barca team that presses so high, I think that it will force a lot of individual errors from the Chelsea midfielders and then their defenders. And Barcelona can capitalize on it. So this explains the two defensive issues in the two sides. And either side can take advantage of what is not right with the other side's defense. And I think it will also likely play out in the game.
On Sporty, 106.1 FM in Accra, 102.5 in Takoradi, and 91.3 in Kumasi. Previewing the Champions League games coming up tonight. It's Chelsea versus Barcelona in one of the games, and that's what we are discussing presently. And I'm going to ask Kelvin a very difficult question, and maybe it could be an easy one for him. Hey, Kelvin, Chelsea, Barcelona. Barcelona are winless in their last 4 games at Stamford Bridge. They've lost twice. They've drawn twice. Who wins this one tonight? What kind of outcome are we going to see?
It's quite tough, but I think this should be a victory. This should be a victory for Chelsea.
Chelsea?
Yeah. The reason why I think it's going to be a victory for Chelsea, there's so much at stake for them. As Club World Cup champions or the world champions when it comes to club football, they're expected to live up to that billing. And remember, Barcelona fans were making noise that because we did not turn up, you people had it easy your way. Number two, there is that extra motivation of Enzo Maresca. If you listen to his interview when he said going to Spain to play against us, like you won against them as a player. What is it at stake for you? He wants to continue on that tangent. Now, there is also that extra motivation for someone like Marc Correa, who is a former Barcelona Academy player. When he was let go and then now he's back, he's performing at great levels. Wants to prove a point. And let's not forget that.
Shouldn't have let me go.
Thank you. Remember the last time that, there was a 3-0 shutdown when the two teams met. Chelsea would have it at the back of their mind. There should be that revenge. And looking at that high line that Hansi Flick wants to play, if Chelsea hits the ball 1, 2, 3 times and it falls to Pedro Neto, I don't see any of Barca's defenders being able to outrun him for the ball. And when he gets into those areas, we know that he's also a very good finisher.
Yeah.
These are the elements that I see. Barca may control the game and all, but Chelsea will pick the moment in the game. The moments, the fine margins that do matter will go in favor of Chelsea. And that is what makes me believe that, yes, it may be difficult, Barca may score, but I think that Chelsea stands a better chance of winning this.
Michael, I know you disagree with Kelvin. Barcelona take on Chelsea. Oh, okay. Well, I know. I don't think Michael would disagree. But
you haven't asked him.
No.
He hasn't spoken.
You know what? When I said I know Michael would disagree, the smile on his face told a lot. It said a lot.
But it's just a smile.
but Michael, how is this game going to possibly end? Are we going to see a draw? Are we going to see a winner in this one?
Okay, so fun fact, before I come in with a prediction, the last time these two sides met in the Champions League, Barcelona won 3-1 at the Camp Nou. And the referee in the middle of the game was Damir Skomina. He was a Slovenian. Now, this game will be officiated by Slavko Vincic, a Slovenian. So I don't know if it's just mere coincidence, but the Chelsea fans, you should be worried because the last time a Slovenian referee officiated Barcelona-Chelsea, it ended 3-0 for Barcelona. That is an interesting part. But I think Maresca has passed a lot of tests, but the Bayern Munich game, and it was because his tactics did not work. Against PSG, his tactics paid off. Against Liverpool this season, his tactics paid off. I have seen him set his team up and then play according to how the opponent is like and then what their weaknesses and strengths are. And Chelsea have excelled at that. This is a young, inexperienced Chelsea team, but very well coachable. And if you do get your tactics right, these players have the technical ability to apply themselves fully and deliver a result. Nobody envisaged Chelsea would deal with Paris Saint-Germain the way they did. And so I want to say, if Maresca gets his tactics right, Barcelona could be in for a sound beating. Yes, Barca will likely get goals, but they could be in for a sound beating against Chelsea if Maresca's tactics work. And I want to dwell on that and say that if it goes that way, I don't see anything beyond the Chelsea win. I think the worst for Chelsea in this game, judging by what is at stake, will be a draw. But definitely, I see the two teams scoring.
Right. So Michael believes that Chelsea could do the job over Barcelona, and Kelvin thinks so too. Promises to be an exciting night of European football. But Kelvin, let me come to you. Which other games are catching your attention tonight? Which other games are you going to be focused on? Let me just take you through the games once again. Ajax play Benfica. That's 35 versus 36. Two teams that have 0 points at the moment. They'll be chasing their first points in the competition. Galatasaray play Royal Union SG. Bodo Glimt plays Juventus, Chelsea, Barcelona, Dortmund, BRL, Man City, Leverkusen, Marseille versus Newcastle, Napoli, Karabakh, and Slavia Prague would play Athletic Bilbao. Which games would you be keeping an eye on as well?
Well, I think I would have an interest in the Dortmund VRL game, obviously because of Thomas Partey and how Dortmund have been failing almost every now and then in the Bundesliga. Last weekend was quite surprising. They are one of the teams who destroyed many hearts. Including Michael Asaiwodu's hearts. Yes, they destroyed things for boys. But I'm looking at the weekend when BRL also had a very good victory, and it was a good game for Thomas. I've seen very little of him when it comes to the Champions League. Maybe the coach is trying to manage him because of Partey's injury history, not giving him too much stress to make sure that he's available for games. It's going to be quite interesting because these are two sides who will be playing, free-flowing football, lots of fluidity, lots of players running down left, right, center, to try to get the very best out of the game. So I'd want to see VRL keep themselves high up. I want to see Thomas at the biggest level of football. Let's not forget, we will not be getting, the African Nations Cup. So as many players who are part of the core of Otoado's squad, the spine of Otoado's team, you would want to see them play many competitive games that would test their quality over time. And that is why I would want to see that game, see how Partey fares. Fine, you can't underestimate or downplay his quality, but there are times the quality of opposition and then the games clearly elevates you to a different level, because every now and then you are facing different challenges that you would have to maneuver your way through. So I'll keep an eye on that game. And also Bodo Glimt, let's not forget, this is a side who are very stubborn. Very stubborn when it comes to the Champions League. And they are playing against Juventus. Juventus who have been a bit woeful, in the last 2-3 seasons, even this season.
Bodo are very good at home.
Yes, very, very, very good at home. Very good at home. So if Juventus don't take care, they are going to lose this as well. And if they lose it, you know that they will be heading towards the base. And once you get to the base, it will be difficult for you to get back, win, the rest of the games and get into a good position to qualify for the next stage of the competition. So I would also have an interest in that. Maybe Marseille, Newcastle, can Newcastle, get another one with the confidence from the weekend game victory against Manchester City, push them towards a victory against Marseille. Marseille themselves will be looking forward to how they are going to, also keep the threats of Newcastle United. Newcastle, for me, that game against Manchester City, yes, they made sure that they were...
No Isak, no problem.
Very good. No Isak, no John Wissa, who is currently injured. They still have no problems because they have the outside forwards to get them the very, perfect results. But like I was saying, this is a Marseille team who also have very good players. Mason Greenwood. Yeah. They have, there's this guy, I always forget his name. Michael, is it Pazao? I always forget. Yes. Michael. Very good. Yeah, that guy. And then they have one player that you can never underestimate who is leading the attack, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. In defense, they have experience. Yeah. Benjamin Pavard. These are very good players, and then Timothy Weah would obviously be used either as a wing back or on the right-hand side of defense. So that is where I think that the likes of Harvey Barnes would have an opportunity to just have their way through. Emerson playing against Elanga. Elanga, I've always said, if you look at the Sweden team that is failing to get he sees himself as a big boy, but he's not up there yet. And I will be looking forward to seeing how Eddie Howe will use his team to try create some very good, magic moments there. And then I have an interest in, that German centre forward, Woltmed.
Yeah.
He's my kind of guy. As a number 9. Yeah. I just love how he plays. And he's the reason why Newcastle United have been winning certain games. Because upfield there, he just knocks it off with the defenders, and then the rest of the team picks up. They pick up the scraps, and then they are able to get in there with goals. And it's become very dangerous when it comes to set pieces because they have the men. Joelinton is stepping forward Danny Ben is stepping forward.
Boatman is stepping
Boatman is, Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär is Emil Kraft, and that Malik Thiaw guy, the one who dealt with Haaland. They have, I think they are also adding different dimensions to their play. So this is also going to be a game that I want to see how the test from Marseille would disrupt Newcastle or not. Then they are not playing at home too. They are playing away in France. So wait to see how they can withstand that test and then get better and keep themselves in a competition. So lots of interest in the games, but obviously, Chelsea and Barcelona would always stand tall.
And talking about Newcastle do have a very decent record in the competition at the moment. They are also in the running for an automatic place in the next round of the competition. They've picked up 9 points from possible 12. So they are one of the teams we should pay attention to. But I'm joined in studio by one man who loves his football club. Okay, he's so much in love with his football club that and on a day like this, you see, I want to hear him. I want to hear him make all the promises in this world. Is it? In fact, let me introduce him first. Nana Kwame Labi has joined me in studio. Nana, welcome.
Thank you so much.
You are decked out in your Chelsea scarf and your white. Why today you are wearing white because you're anticipating a victory for Chelsea?
Honestly, it wasn't really planned, but I mean, since you mentioned it, yes. I mean, I've been anticipating this victory for ever since the draw was done.
Oh, I see.
I remember when the draw was being done, I was seated right here in this very seat. And I said that no, this is the matchup that we need as Chelsea.
Okay.
This is what will change our season.
So Chelsea is winning tonight?
Oh yeah, we need the game tonight.
Chelsea is winning tonight.
I'm very, very confident. I've never been confident.
Yeah. Against Barcelona.
Yes, we're winning.
That's Lewandowski.
We have some of the players who also in this particular fixture, it's not about the big names. It's not about the big names. This fixture has never been about big names.
Okay.
It's about the team that will play better on the field.
Right.
You understand? So with this, I see Lewandowski, Lamine Yamal, no problem. We'll play as a unit. We did the same against PSG in the Club World Cup. I mean, I'm not going to have this conversation without bringing that particular victory against PSG.
Okay.
We were underdogs in that particular fixture. We came out. You could see that there was a clear-cut style of play that Enzo Maresca put the boys out to play. And it worked for us. I have confidence in my manager. I have confidence in the kind of players that we have to make things happen. We might not have the big names. I mean, you are talking about our defense. I mean, who's the big name in our defense? Is it Chalobah? Is it Rich James? Is it Malo Gusto? We don't have the big names. But I know Chelsea will deliver today.
Scoreline?
It's going to be by a slim margin. 2-1, 3-2, maybe 1-0.
Oh, I see.
Chelsea win.
I see. You're very confident.
I'm very, very confident.
Soft work.
Not soft work, but no. Let me put this out. It's not going to be an easy game. You're not going to just walk past Barca just like that. I mean, this is a rivalry for years to come. It's been there for some time. It's going to be there even after we leave this earth. But I know very well that this particular fixture is not going to be an easy one, but Chelsea goes home with it. Or stays home.
It's not a big problem for them.
We'll see how things turn out for Chelsea.
We don't come here say we can't play.
We would see. I mean,
Chelsea.
By 10 o'clock, everybody will see the smoothness level. So, I mean, thank you very much, Nana Kwame. I hope you are not going to advise investors to bet on Chelsea today.
No, I never bet on my team.
Okay, so, but you are going to advise investors to.
I'll leave that for Immortal and Eustace to do so. Okay. But I'm not going to talk about that today.
Okay, very well. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Hopefully tomorrow morning I'll be looking for you.
I'll be here tomorrow morning.
Yeah, tomorrow. Whatever happens tomorrow morning, I need you.
And I'll do my usual walk into the premises every time I win a big game. You see that usual walk-in I do. That walking. That walk.
When you win a big game,
Don't worry. I'll go walk like that now.
Nana Kwame, as always, he'll say all the nice things about Chelsea, but in the game itself, when it starts going south, you hear him on the blue stand.
But when have I sat here? When? When? Okay, it was just once, the United game.
Oh, but me?
No. But that's why we all knew what happened. It was a very huge coaching error. And that I
and that can happen tonight. That can happen tonight.
Oh, it's possible.
Yes.
But I'm very confident it won't.
Okay.
I'm very, very confident it won't.
Right.
Pray that even the coach doesn't even push Kopama in the mix like that. I mean, it will be too soon, but just pray that Kopama doesn't find himself playing the number 10 role today. Some defense, no.
Chelsea fans are confident. They're very confident.
I don't speak for all Chelsea. I speak for myself. I'm very, very confident.
Oh, but a lot of them are sounding like you.
I'm very, very confident.
Hey.
Basa. Software. Software.
From the get-go. Maybe he might be given some minutes or so, but Partey and what he brings to the party is that control, that calmness. And in an away game like this for BRL, you judge how they are playing so far. They've not really had a string of good results in the UEFA Champions League, unlike their form in the La Liga tells. So they'll want to maybe have a certain level of control in this game. Playing at the Signal Iduna can be a daunting task for opponents if you don't have character and history backing you, especially for a club like BRL. So that is where you will need experienced players to come to the fore and help how the team plays, how they will handle themselves when the home team comes marauding at them. So yes, Dortmund have a very exciting team made up of talent who also love to play their game in their own way. Pascal Grosch, formerly of Brighton and Hove Albion, Marcel Sabitzer, played for Leipzig at a point in time, had a stint at Manchester United, and then even for Bayern Munich. They make up an excellent midfield duo. And one thing they do is that they love to have much of the possession so they can do their distribution. And whether Dortmund will attack from the flanks or they will want to play from the middle, they mostly have to dwell on these two. So one way Villarreal can really play against them and have a good day is when Villarreal also have a midfield that is structured in a manner where they can match what Dortmund is bringing to them. And I think in Partey and then also Gay, they have a midfield selection that can handle the pressure and deal with it as expected. But it is going to be exciting. If Partey does not start, it will be disappointing, especially for the many Ghanaians who are hoping to see a lot of Ghanaian players involved in competitions like this. But if he does start, the quality he will bring to bear will be his experience and also control. And that is something BRL would need the most in a game like this.
Right. Still talking about the Champions League and what to expect this evening. There's still a game to look forward to, and that game should feature, possibly one Ghanaian. That's the game between Bilbao and Slavia Prague. But I think Inaki Williams is injured there, so we may not get to see Inaki Williams in action for Ghana there. But there's Ajax Benfica coming up at 5:45. There's Galatasaray Union SG 5:45. Bodo Glimt Juventus 8 p.m. Chelsea Barcelona is at 8 p.m. Dortmund BRL 8 p.m. Manchester City Bayer Leverkusen 8 p.m. Marseille Newcastle 8 p.m. Napoli Karabakh at 8 p.m. and Slavia Prague versus Athletic Bilbao also at 8 p.m. That's it for the Champions League discussion. And I'll put Michael on the spot. Let's talk about Manchester United and their struggles. We'd finish the show with Manchester United. Michael, yesterday, a lot of Man United fans thought, it was going to be one of those games where United playing at home before their fans would, pick maximum points. And especially after that red card incident, everybody thought United were going to run away with all 3 points. But it didn't end as United fans expected. What didn't happen for United yesterday? And what did Everton do very well yesterday to stop United from, drawing that game or possibly picking 3 points?
3 points. One, complacency. Two, coaching. The 2 C's. I think it did not go well for Manchester United. Complacent in the sense that maybe when the red card happened, they had a sense of belief that, finally we are going to beat them. They are a man down. And so if we just act in a way as we should, normal vibes, then we are going to win. I want to believe that, although it is not really possible in top-level professional football. But with Manchester United, anything is possible. I think they were a bit complacent. I didn't see them play with a sense of urgency until in the last 5 minutes where they really felt that things was really slipping and they need to really do a lot. And that is what I think was wrong with Manchester United. 2, coaching. For all that Ruben Amorim preaches, I think, excuse me to say, it's a bit senseless to play 3 central defenders against a team that is mostly on the back foot. They are defending for their lives because after 70 minutes, Everton were no longer interested in attacking. What they decided to do was sit back and defend. And I remember at a point in time, the commentator called it that Everton were playing a very risky game because if they concede, it could actually lead to Manchester United unleashing a lot of attacking firepower at them. But it never happened. And I don't know, but I think the change that happened where Mazraoui was withdrawn and then Mason Mount came on. it should have been a change that also affected the structure of Manchester United. Come on. Amorim cannot convince some of us that in instances like this, it is still tactful to stick with the back three and play like that. I don't think that should be it. There should be an instance where you're able to change things a bit. You're able to make sure that your team is playing to suit how the opponent has set up. David Moyes changed something about Everton right after they went a man down. And then United should have counted. But if you keep doing the same things throughout the game, it is not going to help. And I think the coaching wasn't the best. And Amorim can also look himself in the mirror and say that, yes, the players let themselves down. They were a bit complacent. They did not really do exactly as they were expected to do. But I also think in terms of coaching, Amorim could have done better and then improved the side. But with that being said, I still think United missed the likes of Šeško and then Matheus Cunha in this game. They missed them. If they were available, maybe things would have been different. Joshua Zirkzee is not that guy. He's not a... Don't trust him. He has some good chances where he could have at least forced a lot of saves from Pickford, but only one on target to force a save from the goalkeeper. And I think it was one of those days for Manchester United that also wrote clearly that they are not where they are supposed to be. They are not there yet. Yes, they had some good results along the line, but it's just that this is a process that has not even reached the halfway stage, and they will still need to do more to make sure that they are finally back to where they feel they belong. But yesterday was a very, very poor game. It was very poor.
Michael, you talk about coaching. Is Amorim refusing to understand that in that wing-back role, Dogu and Mazraoui won't offer too much? Is Amorim struggling to get the fact that playing Diallo in number 10 position won't work? Is it lost on him that a lot of the players he wants to use in certain roles do not fit in easily or do not fit in perfectly in those roles, and it's just trying to be stubborn and still try to get them to perform in those positions? I mean, is it just being a stubborn manager, or there are times coaches play like that and find a way to get results, and so he'll keep trying to get the best out of these players in those positions. I mean, is it just being a stubborn manager, or in fact, what is Amorim's problem?
I think he's trying to use a donkey for a horse race, or I mean no harm to Kia Morning users or drivers, but trying to use a Kia Morning vehicle for an F1 race, it is not possible. And I think that is where the problem is. His selection, for instance, as you called it, there is a reason I said things would have been a bit different if Matheus Cunha was in there. Ahmad loves to operate in spaces. If you play him centrally, he's a bit restricted and he cannot effect the game as you expect. So the best way to use him is just as you've been using him, as a right wing back. And he delivers the results because he's developed that perfect synergy between himself and Mbeumo that it is yielding positive results for Manchester United. So if it is not broken, why try to fix it? Ahmad and Mbeumo are still available. So why not play them in the same role and position as they've been thriving in? So the decision to change it is a bit questionable. And again, if you trusted in Mason Mount, why not start him from the get-go? Because he was available to start this game. And so instead of playing Ahmad as one of the double number 10, you play Mason Greenwood, as I said, you play Mason Mount there, and then you switch Ahmad to his right wing back row. And he was good. You are good to go. But I don't know why he decided to change a lot about the team and how they played, and it did not really pay off. I think, yes, his selection was questionable as much as his coaching in the game was also not good. It did not really preach something positive about everything that he has done right. They were on a 5-game unbeaten run, and the narrative around him was changing. But yesterday's game gives credence to those who still criticize him that he's basically not done anything, and that those good results were just flashes in the pan. And then it was only a matter of time where the reality stared Manchester United back in their faces and said, you are not going anywhere. And so that is clearly what played out yesterday. It wasn't one of the best. His selection wasn't the best, in my opinion. And that is something that he will need to look at. Again, in-game management, also not the best. And I think United will need to improve.
Looking at United, do they look like a team that could possibly finish in top 4?
I see this United team, and what I see is missing is consistency. To make the top 4, you need to be consistent for a period, and you need that to work in your favor. Judging by the opponents that you would have to face and the opponents that you are competing for such a position with. If you compare United straight with, yes, Spurs have their own issues, but I think Spurs are not far off in terms of challenging for the top 4 than Manchester United, because they look better placed. They look like if Thomas Frank just work on things and then is able to get them to play with much more bravery, they are courageous enough to take more risk, Spurs will be better. And it's a different case from the Manchester United bit. Again, if you look at the top 4 as it is now, there is Arsenal, there is Chelsea, there is Manchester City, there is Aston Villa. Crystal Palace are just close. Brighton are just close. And these are teams who at any point in time can spring surprises. I don't think Manchester United is good enough to beat Crystal Palace in such a race. I don't think they are good enough to beat Aston Villa in such a race. Even Newcastle United, and for all their struggles in away games, if they improve and then turn around the corner, they will definitely give Manchester United a tough fight. So even for qualifying for the European places, it's not cast in stone that United will make it, to even talk about top 4. So judging by how they are fared, I think making the top 4 will be contingent on a lot of factors playing to United's advantage. Having a lot of their key players available for a sustained period. And this is a United team who will be missing out on Amad Diallo and Brian Mbeumo during the AFCON. And they could be gone for like a month, judging by how their respective teams fare in the competition. And missing Mbeumo and Amad for a month is actually a tough one, unless United will not be engaged a lot in the Premier League during that period. But yes, they would.
Yeah.
And it would affect them. Mbeumo is by far their best attacking player. Amad Diallo by far is one of their best creative outlets, especially from the wing positions. If the two are not available, it takes away the threats United pose to opponents like 40%, and that is a big issue. So the non-availability of key players in the team will also be their undoing. Again, I still think they will need to beef up, especially in the middle. For all that Elliot Anderson is doing, it is screaming, someone should come get me, because he needs to just slot into a top team and then he's good to go. And it's that profile United badly need to improve their side. So on the face value, if you are to analyze things as it is now, I don't think United are in a position to make the top 4. Only if certain things change around how they play and then the team overall. And I don't see that now. So that's why I think they won't make the top 4. Even making Europe, I think it will be a tough ask.
Well, Michael has had a say on Manchester United and where they could possibly finish. Doesn't look like they could finish in top 4. But Kelvin,
Yeah.
did you watch the game yesterday?
I watched the entire game.
Did you see that Dewsbury Hall goal?
Yeah, I did.
Very easy. It was almost as if United didn't know how to defend. It was almost as if there was no one pressing him. It was.
You know what? Yes, I understand. You know one thing. This is Dewsbury Hall's second goal for Everton. He's supposed to be a winger who should be adding lots of goals to the team. So I'm sure maybe the United players were thinking, "Come on, this guy can he even shoot from that distance and score? Is he going to take that chance?" Remember, I think was it Lenny Yoro who went into that challenge and failed to clear the ball properly.
Yeah.
And by the time De Ligt realized, I think he mistook, Hall to try pass the ball. But Hall was just aiming to hit the target, because at that moment, he had an opportunity just facing the goalkeeper to hit the ball and try see if he was going to save it. I still don't understand why Ruben Amorim is trying to force his 3-back system, even when he can play in a 4-back that can offer him lots of, variety, dimension, dominant in games. It was terrible to see that United were just struggling to play against a 10-man Everton, with players in defense like Keane and Tarkowski. Shimoskoma was injured, had to go off. In midfield, Ghana Dewsbury Hall virtually took over the entire game. Elema Ndiaye and then what was it? The centre forward, I've forgotten his name. That black guy. That guy. Yeah, Barry. We're just up front and couldn't just they just couldn't pin them to their own end. And it raises serious questions about the coach and his style of play. Like Michael is mentioning, maybe Šeško was the one missing for United. Because if you look at the games that United played and before his injury, when they started picking up the pieces, he was the one knocking the ball off. They used him as an outlet, knocking the ball off for, the likes of Mbeumo to pick up and try. And Cunha. Yeah. I think United missed those two players.
Cunha was a big...
And there's one thing that, every time Kawa says it, and I've also realized it, certain decision-making from the captain is terrible. Bruno Fernandes. He had glorious opportunities to score. There were instances where he had to take his time, control the ball, and try to find the net. But he decided to just, that is nonchalant behavior. Let me hit the ball anywhere he goes. And after that, he will start screaming and calling out names and attacking referees, throwing his arms everywhere with his gestures, signs of frustration every now and then. I sincerely don't think United deserve this. And I don't know what will work for them. What sort of midfield partnership is going to work for Manchester United?
This partnership is not working. This Casemiro Fernandes is not working.
Today is Casemiro. Tomorrow is this. The next day is this. We all know the capabilities of Bruno Fernandes when he's up the field.
Yes.
So in a game where you are missing Cunha, why don't you push him forward? You're playing against Everton, and bring Kobe Menu or any other player to come and play.
Ugarte and Casemiro, whatever.
Thank you. Yesterday, fine. Zexi got some very two good headers on target that. The goalkeeper Pickford got off. But I still think that there is a lot more that he can do. Glorious opportunities, free headers, and he was heading it wide, not even testing, the goalkeeper. For the few times he did, credit to Jordan Pickford. He was brilliant yesterday. He virtually stood between United equalizing and then winning the game for winning the game and getting all 3 points at home. Everything boils down to the coach. Nobody can tell me he's anyone else. If he was the one credited as the best coach for last month, despite conceding and dropping some points, he still got the best coach. And he comes into a game where David Moyes is battling with 10 men, and he still allow him to beat you at the Old Trafford. Then he speaks volumes about you. It's more like 2 steps forward than 3 steps back for United.
Well, that's the story of Manchester United. Michael Asarbodi, thank you for joining me on the show this morning. It's been a pleasure having you. Hopefully tomorrow morning we'll be back to run the rule over tonight's Champions League fixtures. We'll see if Chelsea fans would get a chance to do a bit of bragging tomorrow morning on the show. Michael, have a good day. Right. So Michael Asarbodi joined us from Kumasi Sporty 91.3 FM. Wadud, what is Wadud saying? Okay, I'll get into a few of your messages in a bit. But I have great news coming from the pre-seconds. And it's Odadia at 87. Yes, Odadia at 87. Pre-seconds, Odadia, Ghana, the Blue Magic is back. Presec Legon celebrates 87 years of excellence this Saturday, 29th November 2025 at 9:30 a.m. on the Presec ceremonial grounds. And this weekend, Chairman Odadie Edmond Ahadome will be the guest of honor. We have Right Reverend Dr. Abraham Nana Opare Kwache and guest speaker Odadie Honorable Samuel Ukujeto Ablakwa, the foreign minister, all in attendance. And this event is proudly powered by the unstoppable Odadie Y2K group. Come experience heritage, brilliance, and true excellence. Presec at 87, in thy light we shall see light. So Presec invites all Presecans and Odadie to this weekend's event. This weekend they celebrate 89 years of excellence. 29th November 2025, 9:30 a.m. at the Presec Ceremonial Grounds. We shall all be there. We shall all be there to support Presec. And this December, where are you going to be? Ghana may not be playing at the Africa Cup of Nations, but the tournament is being hosted in the beautiful kingdom of Morocco, and it coincides with the end of year celebrations. This December, Dunia Safari and Sporty FM are bringing you closer to the games. Why don't you try something different? From the usual dirty December routine, go on there to be different. Travel with your squad or family, watch AFCON games live and explore Morocco like never before. Dunia Safari has exclusive group travel packages to see